What up? What up, Facebook?
What up, people?
What up, beautiful people out here in the great world of virtual land? We are here.
We back.
What I told y'all, we back. We wasn't playing. I say the same thing every week that we didn't come out here to come play no games with nobody. We came out here to make sure that we have real relevant conversation. Welcome to the podcast. Real relevant conversation. I'm your host, Eljay, and this horse person. Y'all, do you want to say something to the people?
Something to the people.
Not you gonna say something to the people. This is KC, y'all. And the truth of the matter is, my good friend is hoarse today. So this is a real struggle because I get to talk junk.
Oh, wow.
Let me tell y'all how I get to talk junk. I get to talk junk because
You just
fly,
went to my TV.
Eagles fly.
I know you fucking right. I know it ain't no motherfucking
Fly, Eagles
way.
fly.
My nigga, you and I both know
Oh,
get up from this table
fly,
right now.
Eagles fly. Well, I'm just saying that because I gotta pick one of the teams. I gotta either pick Kansas City or I gotta pick Philly. And I'm sorry, I gotta stick with the NFC South. I mean the NFC period. That ain't the South, but I'm just saying. I can't go for Kansas City. You know, I respect them in that game, but y'all know, my homie was on here on last week and she was singing the praises. But that's not.
I still sing the praises
Absolutely.
for the Commanders.
Listen, y'all team had a great run, man. The Commanders had a great run.
And it's only the beginning. Literally, it's a rookie quarterback, bro. Like, we got time.
Yep, absolutely. Got plenty of time. Got plenty of opportunity to make it do what it do. So, we ain't hating or anything like that. I just thought it was necessary for me to go ahead and say that one good time because
I don't understand the necessary.
As you can see, I got on all this Carolina Panther stuff, but anywho, y'all know, like we started last week, we have a guest that is coming. We weren't able to get it set up for this week. She is going to join us for part 2 on what we are discussing today. Well, what you're going to be hearing me talk about on today anyway, because because she can't get over the saltiness of the fact that the Commanders, they went down with a fight though.
I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm going to do now what I didn't do on Sunday.
You're going to do now what you didn't do on Sunday.
I'm going to shut up.
Yo, I'm going to tell y'all about that later, at a later date. All right. But we here today to be able to talk about what we said. At the end of the day, the main purpose of real relevant conversation is to be able to bring conversation to the table. Too many times we got people that ain't reachable, that's not touchable, and we want to be able to, use our own experience to kind of share, things that brought us to the place that we are in life. But before I get started, I definitely want to first...
Y'all remember last week?
Last week, production. I was struggling to hold their phone up. They getting it together. But listen, first of all, I do want to say that I appreciate everybody that has tuned in for the past 3 episodes on Facebook. I got family in Virginia that's tuning in. Some of the church members over at the Pleasant Grove Missionary Baptist Church down in Clover, South Carolina, checks in every week. Pastor Chandler checks in every week. We got Mama Audrey. I got my stepmother Kim that check in every week on me. And and don't get it twisted. If I didn't see your name, I do apologize. It's nothing. Charge it to my head, not to my heart.
Constance.
Mama Constance. I ain't finished. I was turning the curve. I was turning the corner around there. So, just want to definitely give a shout out to Mama Constance, who she gives us feedback every week. You know what I'm saying? She be checking us. Well, mainly her because, all right, cool. But again, I want to tell you all that we definitely appreciate you for tuning in every week, all the support as we continue on our podcast on this journey that we're doing. Well, we want to be able to be some assistance to provide a level of experience and to be able to give that so that we can pursue what it is that we, are destined to do, and it started in this year that we in 2025. Now, if we honest, it's been all kind of shenanigans that's been going on since the 20th.
Because if you shenan once.
Because if you shenan once, you're going to shenan again, okay? I'm not going to dive into the politics, Kay. But it's been all kind of stuff that's just been happening. And at the end of the day, man, I want us to make sure that we just keep our head down. Don't get disheartened. Keep doing what we're doing. And just know that everything is going to be okay. Because I heard people on the Instagram and on the Facebook and TikTok, and they said, we tried to tell them. I'm going to just leave that where it is. I'm sorry if you're feeling different. I don't have anything to do with that. I'm not diving into my own personal.
At the end of the day, I'm thoroughly entertained by it. Like, I just sit back and I'm, all right, what did he do today?
Like, listen, it's so many letters and so many things that's out there. And I do want to say this, as we know, like I said, church family is watching, but please be aware that we created this platform between myself and between Carrie because we want to give a realistic view of personal experiences and conversation, not just from a biblical standpoint, not just from, as the church likes to call it, a worldly standpoint. So my friend is going to talk as freely as she please and not with the intent to offend anybody. But it is very much so for us to be able to paint a picture of real conversation that people really have that can affect and impact life. And just so you know, they love Carrie. Don't nobody say jack about LJ.
I doubt that.
Everybody be like, yo, tell Carrie I said what up. Tell Carrie I said I love her. And y'all don't even know, to be honest, and you can tell if I'm telling the truth or not. This is outside the box for you.
Oh, 1,000%. I am much more comfortable behind the camera than I will ever be in front of the camera.
Yeah, so it's a challenge, and I love it because that's what we're going to talk about today, man. We're going to talk about, it's going to tie into what we talked about, dealing with reconciliation, dealing with forgiveness, understanding closure that we've been talking about, but then it's also bringing together the aligning and an alignment with your assignment. And I just thought it was interesting that I wanted to, bring to the table and to the forefront is that the fact that you're so used to being behind camera, you're so used to not allowing people to really the people that's close to you is who you touch.
Right.
But, your level of intelligence and your level of realness is beyond, measure. And I know it makes you feel uncomfortable. But the truth of the matter is they need you. It's people that's out here that is listening to you be real. And then they going back and making decisions on not to respond to folks a certain kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely. And I just... even with that, I just want to say, the greats fall short every once in a while, and
yo, cause my dog fell short.
I fell short. I did, but Sunday. I'm not gonna say I fell short. I'm just gonna say I allowed myself to step out of character. Situation went much farther than it ever needed to go, and I was mad at myself after the fact. Like everything else, it was irrelevant. I didn't give a damn about nothing else. I was just like, damn, Carrie, like, why would you allow yourself to step out of character in that way? For the
record, the same one right here, I just sent text messages that says, please stop.
Nah, that wasn't useful
stop,
in the moment.
Kay, can you?
That wasn't something that was going to be useful. Imagine somebody who's already on like level 1,000, right? And you telling them, girl, just chill out. What?
Right.
No, you chill out. And you don't tell me to chill out. And it was real insanity. But I mean,
what they say?
Players fuck up too.
There you go. Players, they mess up and then they get it together.
That's
but
right.
See, here's the biggest thing that we talked about. We talked about accountability.
Oh, I take full accountability.
We talked about accountability.
Everything I do, I take accountability.
And again, we ain't talking about nobody from a perfected state, man.
Right.
We talking about real relevant stuff and things that happen. And sometimes we have it together. And the other days we be like, man, I'm about to take this cape off.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm about to take this cape off.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to go ahead and do what I feel, how it feels, whatever it feels like. But at the end of the day, we making it do what it do. So, because Carrie can't talk that much, that means I get to use my platform to preach. So I'm going to go ahead and preach my sermon, standing all over the building, all over on virtual. I'm just playing. She She done stood up. I'm
really not that much of a heathen. I promise.
She really not that much of a heathen, but you know, it's just one of those things where, okay, production is disagreeing with me. I don't really know, but she kind of that much of a heathen.
Oh, am I that much of a heathen, production? Oh, my bad. You know, I did, and I realized it too. And I had thought about it. I almost kept walking for real.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting back down, because I knew.
Yeah.
I was on thin ice.
So because she can't talk but so much, that just simply means that as we prepare for part 2, which is going to be a friend of ours that is from Seattle, Washington, where she lives in Seattle, Washington now. She's a life coach. Her name is Constance. I didn't want to drop her name because I want to make sure, you know, we know her on that personal level. But definitely she's going to come on to the show and give some tidbits into, you know, aligning with your assignment. But the other piece that, you know, I wanted to tap into is I asked Carrie this question as we was preparing for the show, and I said I wanted to open this up and just kind of get what you all's perspective of. I said, Carrie, have you ever sat back and wondered, like, why you here? Like, have you ever sat back and wondered why you have the position that you have, whether it's for work? Have you ever wondered why the people that you come in contact with, even if it's strangers off the street, why they feel the need to come and pour their entire soul at your feet, right? Do you ever wonder, like, why you have been given the level of influence or the impact that you have had? Or have you ever had a moment where you sat back and been like, man, bro, what am I doing with life right now?
Absolutely. I've never, it took me a very long time to really understand why. And I used to always say, like, why do people tell me their life story? I don't even know them. Like, it's random interactions, whether it's at work, whether it's at home. It's just something, like, really strange that people feel comfortable enough with me to really be their true selves. Something I love, but it's also something that it takes a while to really understand why.
Yeah. Yeah.
I realized that, you know, I used to tell y'all all the time, I want to be a life coach when I grow up. But in my mind, I have this, like, real grand concept and thoughts and ideas of, you know, life coaching half of the population of the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then one day I sat back and I realized, even without me doing it on a grand scale, even without me being this larger than life person, I realized that I have been a life coach my entire life. People have always, for whatever reason, come to me and look to me to really genuinely be someone that they could get objective, you know, input from. And I appreciate that. And it made me appreciate it even more when I realized I'm doing exactly what I said I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I realized that I want to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. I want to educate people, regardless of the subject. It's just something that I love doing. I love being able to empower other people to be their true selves, their best selves, and their most genuine selves.
Yeah, and I love that because we talked about that, and that's why Carrie will, and I'm not speaking for her, but we talk about, you know, not being in the limelight, right? Because at the end of the day, there's something that is in you, that is instilled in you, whether it's in your heart, whether it's in your soul, that is like identifying that the picture is bigger than you.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that everybody is, and that goes back to aligning with your assignment, that I truly, and I wrote this in my first book, and I said that I honestly believe that everybody is born with a purpose. Everybody that has breath still in their body, they got blood flowing through their veins, they have a purpose that needs to be fulfilled in the earth. There's some level of impact that is supposed to be fulfilled in the earth, but the issue is most people struggle with getting to that place of identifying what it is that they're supposed to be doing. And I think sometimes that's really what leads to some of, if I could be very honest, you know, we deal with life, we deal with, you know, issues. You know, I deal with grief. You know, y'all seen on the Facebook, on the Instagram, talking about my mother. Her birthday was on Sunday, and the day that she departed this natural life was on Saturday. So, you know, I know what, you know, heartbreak looks like, but it's also one of those things that a lot of times we deal with issues, but I think one of the leading causes where we deal with people facing and dealing with anxiety and dealing with depression and dealing with other things is because people haven't really tapped into the core of who they really are. And when you haven't really tapped into the core of who you really are, you're looking for other things, external things, to bring about some level of fulfillment in your life because you haven't really looked inside of you. And I think that same desire that you have, and as I was riding, coming to prepare for the podcast, I was thinking the same thing. And I was talking to Jesus. I was like, Lord, only thing that I want to do is leave an impact to where my life looks like you.
Right.
And when I say my life looks like you, is that when people come in contact with me, it doesn't matter if it's on my worst day, they can still get filled up with some level of joy, some level of something that triggers something in their life to be like, okay, what is it that they done tapped into that maybe I haven't tapped into, that is still on my worst day, I'm still encouraged. Still on my worst day, I can still feel good about myself. Still on my worst day, when it doesn't feel like it's moving the way that it's supposed to be moving, that I can still keep moving because there is still a greater mission behind it. But I think sometimes that we don't tap into it because our identity is not wrapped up in what was born in us. I think our identity is wrapped up in society.
Of course.
It's wrapped up in our jobs.
Of course.
It's wrapped up in what our family.
It's wrapped up in our children. Like, seriously, when you have children, because children monopolize so much of your time, and you literally become, oh, that's Charles' mom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Mackenzie mama. Oh, that's Cameron mama. Oh, that's Kayla mama. No, my name Carrie.
Yeah. Yeah.
My name is, but losing your identity in that is so easy because you pour so much of yourself into those situations, into being a parent, into being the best, what's the word I'm looking for? Like manager that you could be, into being the best learning instructor that you could be. So you lose so much of yourself and your identity that you have to always remember to separate the two so that you can exist. If that thing didn't exist, who would you be?
Right. No, and that's true. But on the other side of that, and you're 100% correct. And what it brought up to me, I hate to tell this story real quick, but it reminded me when my mother was passing. And I just remember she had gotten to a place where she would no longer respond to her daughters calling her mother. When she was in a process of transitioning, she no longer responded to us saying mommy or mom or mommy, can you hear us? It was not until we started calling her by her name that she would respond to us. And I said, man, that's deep, because it's in who you are. So many times our identity is wrapped up in titles that we have gotten. Your title is a mother. Your title is on your job, y'all. Kay is one of the big dogs on her job. Just stay out her business. She make good money over there. You know what I'm saying? She make good money. I'm trying to get on her level. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, and if I could go even a step further, a lot of people get in ministry because they're driven by titles. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people ain't going to say that in church, but that's the reality. People get in ministry because they're driven by titles. A lot of people are on the praise team that should be on the praise team that can't sing. I said it. A lot of people, you ain't nice and you back there ushering and you the meanest person that you ain't need because you ain't really in the place with, but you a mean cook in the kitchen. You understand?
Literally sips tea.
But this is reality, because the truth of the matter is a lot of things cause us to come out of a title and really identify who we are internally. And when I say that I believe that everybody is built and we're created with a purpose, it's going to go back to, y'all turn in your Bibles to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. I'm saying, look at Carrie's face. Carrie be like, oh crap, where we about to go? But the reason why I say that is if I can go there just for a minute, because that is just one of those things that it says that God said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. So if he said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness, every level of what God encompasses was birthed inside of us. And I think what people tend to do is forget that something was birthed into your DNA that is causing you to impact people, whether or not you believe in it as deep as I do when it comes down to the church side of it or the ministry aspect of it. But the reality of it is you were made specifically with your DNA. You think it's a happenstance that you got the position that you got? It's not a happenstance. You think it's a happenstance because you have the children that you've been graced to have? Do you think it's a happenstance that some of the situations that you got to go through maybe ain't the best situations either? Sometimes they just horrible situations that we didn't expect. But I do believe that we were built with gift and talents and abilities, and sometimes we try to separate who we really are at our core and just wrap it up in a bunch of titles of who we are. And I think that sometimes is where our issues in life come in at, is because we don't really know who we are.
Absolutely.
We don't really know who we are.
Absolutely.
We are a product of our environment from time to time. Right? We're a product of our environment. We go down where...
We're a product of our choices.
We're a product of our choices, our environment. Yeah. Shoot. We even to the point where, and we'll look back over our bloodline and be like, man, my mama had back issues. I'm going to go ahead and have back issues as well. I ain't saying you, but I'm just saying. And it's like, okay, so you're succumbing to what may have taken place to somebody else's life, and you're implanting that on you because you haven't necessarily got your own identity. I got 6 sisters. Damn. What? First of all, you got 4 kids.
Damn.
I got 6 sisters. Every last one of us, same mama, same daddy, however you want to call it. I have 6 sisters. It's a total of 7 of us. Every last one of us have different talents, different abilities, different gifts, different views that we have on the world, and it becomes our individual responsibility to figure out what was birthed into you that is supposed to impact the world.
So let me ask you this. With that being said, what is your assignment here? Like, what do you really genuinely think your assignment is? And how did you personally align yourself to be in a position, or do you feel like you have aligned yourself to be in a position to truly live out your assignment, your earthly assignment?
I'm going to tell you this right now, Kay. It took me, it was not until I was maybe about 21, 22, 23 that I felt like I had an actual purpose. And my story, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm going to stop saying I'm sorry, because my faith is my faith. I believe in who I believe in. I don't knock nobody else for what it is that you believe in and anything like that. So my faith is, I did not become into my identity until I got in right relationship with the Lord. And the only reason being is because I had grew up in church for so long,
right,
that the God and the Jesus that I knew about was the God and the Jesus that my mother preached about, my daddy preached about, the church service that I went to every Sunday. All of that right there is what made me just enjoy going to church. But it didn't speak to me on a personal level. It was not until I decided to accept the Lord as my personal Savior. And when I did accept Him as my personal Savior, I had to literally go through a process in my book called emptying out.
Okay.
And when I say I had to empty out, and this is where I go back to talking about forgiveness and talking about reconciliation. And it wasn't about, we said that earlier, it wasn't about nobody else.
Right.
It was solely about me.
Right.
Because I didn't know who I was. If you asked who was Eljay, and those of you that's in my business, when me and Carrie talk, we'd be like, what up, Kay? What up, Key? Yeah, I had to sit back and say, who is Keisha?
Right.
Because I don't freaking know.
Yeah.
I was going wherever the wind, you want to come over here and play the drums? Cool. Can you come over here and have this job? Cool. Can you come on and do that? Whatever door was opening up for me, that's the direction I was going in. But it was not until I got to one of the lowest points of my life and I needed an answer.
Right.
I needed an answer that nobody else could actually give me except for when I laid on my face. And the Lord said to me, I'm about to show you who you are. And when He said, I'm going to show you who you are, it was things of hurt, disappointment. And when I talk about using external things, I thought that what made me as beautiful as I am was the way that I smiled. It was the clothes that I put on my back. It was the position that I had. Everything is the people I came in contact with, they gave me value.
Got it.
My value never came from what was inside me because I didn't know what was inside of me.
Right.
So it was not until I laid before the Lord and things that hurt my feelings over 20, 25 years started coming, and I could feel the pain in my body, right? Okay. And so after I experienced certain things, then the Lord said, okay, now I'm going to show you who you are. So I'm going to tell you why you think the way that you think. Because you think outside of yourself. You think that when you want to make the world a better place, you want to be able to impact other people's lives. Let me build your confidence up in how you think and how you process information. Then when I started understanding, oh, I'm not just slow because I can't read as fast as some people. I'm not slow at all.
There's never been anything slow about you. Except that one time in Spanish class, maybe. But like, you've always been extremely intelligent.
But see, that's the thing. Other people could see that.
The curl just ain't really like.
But that's what I'm saying. Other people could see it, but I couldn't see that in myself.
Absolutely.
I couldn't look in the mirror and see Keisha. I couldn't look in the mirror and see Eljay because I seen every single thing that everybody else said about me.
True.
I looked in the mirror and said, well, you're not that well of a reader, and it's okay. No, I was intelligent as all get up. I can't spell. My mama said, how did my one child that couldn't do that well at reading and couldn't spell that much, how is she the one that write a book? She did say that. You know,
I
Joyce
literally
was
can
disrespectful.
hear her saying it though. But like I could hear it.
Yeah, and then it got to a point where, hey, you're gonna be the baddest musician. Why? Because I was nice. That's what everybody told me. You know what I'm saying? I'm nice on the set. Okay, yeah, I could get down with the best of them. I got a mean pocket, right? But I could get down with the best of them. But everything that somebody else told me that was who I became.
Right.
It was not until something internally spoke to me. I no longer heard voices from the outside. It was something internally that spoke to me, and this is what changed my life. You're beautiful. That's what changed my life. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, you're beautiful because of what I gave you. What I put in you, in your veins, the way that you see people, the heart that you have for people, the compassion that you have for people, what you don't think you have, the courage that I gave you to stand on your own 10 toes down, as they call it, stand flat-footed on what it is that you believe in. I put that in you. And now when somebody come and challenges who I am, you can't shake who I am because you didn't give me my identity. My identity came from the Creator. And that is where the issue is for most people, is that we try to become something apart from who created us. Whoever you believe in created you. That ain't, I believe that God did, and that's who created me, and that's who I'm tapped into. But it's almost like somebody said one time before, how do you know the full functioning of an iPhone or the full functioning of a Samsung? How do you know how well a cake that's out of the box is going to taste unless you follow the instructions? The instructions are there because who created the ingredients to that box cake is where their mind was when they created it. I want a nice moist cake. So you need to put 3 eggs, a half a cup of water, a cup of oil in there, and then cook this for 35 minutes. But don't cook it in the same pan for 35 minutes. If you got a thinner pan, you need to cook it a little bit longer. If you got a thicker pan, you got a that right there gives you the mind of the person that created the thing. And when you tap into or plug into the person or the thing that you believe created you. Yes, my mom and my daddy created me through their marriage, and they became, knowing one another, as the Bible say. They did the do, and they create. But I also
they would never do such.
They would never do such a thing.
They would never do such a thing. That is ridiculous. Get out of grown folks' business. I don't want to hear that because your mama did the same thing. No,
too.
She did not. No, she didn't.
Because you did the same thing when you had kids. You got your 4 kids, and that's how you got the 4 children. But it's one of those things that it's like. My identity was contingent upon people that could not see my innermost parts. And when I got plugged into the person that can see me most deeply, that knew my DNA, knew what I was built up with, knew the talents that I really had that I never tapped into. I never would stand before people and speak and share anything because I was afraid that people would never understand it. Yeah. That was one of my biggest challenges. I cannot explain myself because you don't understand it. Right. Why you don't understand it is because half the time how it is in my head, I can't even articulate.
Right?
But then when I started allowing my thought process to get clean from what everybody else said about me, then my thoughts front rolled a little bit clearer. Then I could finally understand what it was. So my journey on finding purpose, do I feel like I've tapped into my purpose yet? Do I feel like I'm at a place where I'm fulfilling the fullness of it? Absolutely not. I still think that there is levels to it, there's depths to it, but I do think that I've scratched the surface. I think, and I can say that confidently because we wouldn't be doing this if we wouldn't.
Hey, did you notice how you slowed down on that word?
Yeah, I had to go real slow.
I love that for you.
But we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't part of my purpose. You wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't part of your purpose. Because it challenges you to go inside a different place of your courage.
Absolutely.
To actually tap into and speak to the people, whether we laughing, whether we joking, whether you spit knowledge. Because, y'all, I got a promotional video that's going to come out, and it's K spitting game all day. My baby sister seen it, and she was like, that she deep. I was like, I know. That's why she in the front of the camera. That girl be trying to sit behind the camera, get all that information. But we wouldn't be doing this. Because we're impacting people. That's what we want to do.
Right.
That's what brings fulfillment.
Absolutely.
Every time I go to work and I teach, what I have to facilitate at work, when I can look at people and see that they're encouraged and got enough to go out there and do a difficult job, I facilitate what I probably don't even have enough courage to do some days on my best day. I'm going to just be honest, okay? I supervised and managed folks in a way that I did feel the courage to do so, but I encourage people to go out there and do it.
Right. And
I get an email every week. Hey, I got my first XYZ. I'm not telling y'all what I do, but I got my first this. And I respond back. I told you could do it. I told you it wasn't nothing for you to be concerned about, because somebody has to be a vehicle of encouraging people to get things that is inside of them and bring it to a surface so that they blossom. Right. And too many times society is pushing that down.
Absolutely.
Nah, you ain't nobody because you ain't nobody because you ain't got no title behind your name. Your levels of your intelligence means nothing. We're gonna go to the church. Who called you? I said it. Who called you? Who gave you permission? Yeah, Karen looking over here like somebody gonna put me at the church. I said it and I meant it. I'm talking because I have the right to do that.
Absolutely.
I have the right to do that. I am qualified, validated, and have been, I got all that is needed. But all I'm saying is, that's the piece of tapping into aligning with what your assignment is, but it comes from you having to get to a place of knowing you.
Right.
If you don't know who you are, everything, that's why social media is so impactful right now, right? Because everything that we see, what is this generation becoming? Everything they see on social media. Everything that they see on social media is determining who our generation right now is growing up to be. Social media is determining how our churches function. Social media is determining how we even function from friends that we done been 11. You don't agree with me, I don't want to be your friend no more. Why? Because social media says so. Right? They're determining our identity and not allowing what we're born with to be the determining factor on who we are. And that's the biggest issue. And when it comes down to aligning with your assignment, y'all, I wasn't comfortable with how I think, man. I wasn't comfortable with how I think. I didn't feel like it was. I didn't feel of any value to anybody. I was just Keisha. I didn't feel like I had any value. I didn't feel like I had anything to give anybody when I didn't know who I was. This is about to make me cry a little bit. I ain't gonna cry because I'm a G. I'm a G out here. But it did. I felt like at a point in time in my life that I didn't have anything of value to give anybody because nobody could tell me who I was. All they seen was my gifts and my talents. They equated me down to a choir director or a musician, or you can go over there at your job and you do real good at your job, and that's all you're going to be. But ain't it more to me? Do my brain not function a different way where I can think differently? Do I not have something that is of greater value instead of me having to call you every time and get encouragement? Is there not a place where I can pull some encouragement from? Then that's when I was like, it's got to be more. It's got to be more. And aligning with your assignment is when you start tapping into things that bring you fulfillment, that even if everybody take it away from you, you can do it again. If nobody ever compliments you and nobody ever gives you a pat on your back and say, yeah, girl, you did that. But when I walk away, when you and I get up from this table, from our conversations, when we give the words of encouragement to people, when we go out in a social battery, then decided I done had enough. But I can walk away and I said I gave everything that was in me to somebody. I got to go get filled back up myself, but I gave it to somebody. That's what fulfillment is. Right. Now it's not contingent upon did you think I looked good? Because I'm fly anyway. I don't care if you tell me. I'm fly anyway, because that's what I told myself in the mirror before I put my clothes on. You know what I'm saying? But it was a journey. And I had to deal with things in my life that impacted who I was. And it hurt me. Like, when we deal with hurt, sometimes we bottle it. I heard this girl say, we conceal hurt by just moving. So we're just doing other things and we just functioning. So we go dive deep into school, or we dive deep into becoming the best person at our job, or we dive deep into our motherhood, because now those are the things that give us value, and we're concealing our hurt. At some point in time, we got to take that lid off of it being concealed. Right. You got to take that makeup off, and you got to look at reality. And I no longer want to conceal. No longer wanted to conceal the pain that I had endured for 20 years. And I'm not talking about, everybody's level of pain is different. You may have gone through some things in your life, and we talk about it often, Carrie, about some of the journeys that you've had to deal with and some of the experiences that you've had. It may not look like yours, but the pain is the same.
Yeah, it doesn't devalue the experience in any way.
Right. It doesn't change anything. Right. It's just at the point. But there's pain that I had to deal with in order to finally get to a point where I felt like I got something to give somebody. I don't got something that somebody is telling me who I am. I have something to give you. And that is when you start aligning with yourself. Now you start seeing your value in you and not in other things. Not your value in you and your value in a title, or a value in a title, but it's a value in you that you make the title worth something. Right. That's just what it is. We got a president. He just want to be president just because he just want to be president. He don't respect the office or the title. He just just mind my business. I'm going to just mind my business. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's really what it is, man, is aligning. I hope that answered your question on, do I feel like I've reached a certain level, but I haven't reached the maximum of my potential. And I think because it takes discipline as well to get to some levels, but people got to empty out what you've been told. Like, you know why people are bad? Because you spoke that into their life every day. You know why people feel like they ain't nobody? Because somebody told them that every day. Ain't nobody say, hey, you got a gift in you, you just don't know what it is. Hey, the unique way that you think. I told Rose Productions, I said, hey, we was talking the other day, and I said to her, you haven't given yourself permission to be okay with how you process. Because you process information in a way that nobody has given you the okay. I said, I guarantee you, when I hear people, I hear words, then I see symbols. I said, I guarantee you, when you hear information, you see pictures. And you see pictures, and nobody gave you how to articulate those pictures. So now you're being challenged by what it is that you see, because you process information differently. Right. That's unique to your makeup. Right. Because what you have is something that is a gift that is probably going to change somebody looking at a production that you do, a picture that you make, When they walk in your house and how you decorate it, the images that come out of your head can be the very thing that speak life to somebody else.
True.
And people don't know that because they ain't tapped into them.
I'm going down.
You know what I'm saying?
Sorry.
That's just it.
Yeah.
So I just, wanted to, tap into, because at some point in time, I think we all got something here that we supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
Carrie, we just scratching the surface, bro.
Absolutely.
You're going to keep on talking on here, and church people going to be mad because you be saying cuss words on here, but I don't care. I don't care.
Let me just say this, church people. Y'all don't even understand how much I hold myself back from saying the things that the first thought that comes to my head, because I'm trying to be respectful of the mixed crowd that we have as a result of the mixed hosts that you get. So thank me later.
Because Carrie probably earlier, when I said fly Eagles fly, she probably wanted to call me every name that's in the cuss word book that you could possibly put. Carrie put phrases together in a way that's not real. But at the end of the day, man, the biggest piece is, like we said, the main thing is we giving two perspectives. Carrie couldn't talk that much, so it was me doing a lot of talking. But I'm passionate about believing that everybody has something that they have to do.
Absolutely.
I'm passionate about that. I feel like everybody has something to do, and when we stop looking at external things to give us value, and we look within ourselves and identify that my value didn't come from you, my value came from what's inside of me, then some of the standards that we drop down for people that we in relationship with, they wouldn't be dropping no more. It's just factual. Because you'll look at yourself and be like, you don't even deserve what's in me. Let me go ahead and move to the next. Ooh. I said that, deuces. I said that. But at the end of the day, I'm passionate about making sure that anybody that we come in contact with, man, is being able to identify and move yourself forward into a place that is going to bring you fulfillment in life. Absolutely. We laugh, we joke, we have a good time. But at the end of the day, things that are going to heal us as a people, heal us as a nation, is we stop looking at everything else and look at ourselves.
Absolutely.
And look at our impact on what we doing, how we doing, what it is that we're doing, and what is it that we could have changed about ourselves, and really, why am I moving the way that I'm moving? Am I moving that way because somebody else has impacted me, or am I moving this way because I looked inside myself? And if you look inside yourself and you don't know the answer to that question, you might need to dig a little bit deeper. Might need to go talk to somebody.
It's time to do some work, baby.
Gotta do some work.
Gotta
do some work, beautiful people. Gotta do some work. But I just want to tell y'all again, I appreciate y'all joining in. I hope the information that I, given, and like I said, we're gonna follow back up on the line with your assignment, but we gotta identify that you got purpose in you. Hey, you got purpose in you. You got something to do. I don't care what nobody said, man. You got something to do. Life was given to you with a purpose. Everybody has something that it is that they're supposed to be doing in this earth. It becomes your job and your responsibility to find out what that purpose is.
Absolutely.
And when you find out what your purpose is, it's your job not to keep it, not to hold it, but to give it to the next person so that they can find out what their purpose is. That's in my book. That's deep right there. Y'all gonna pick up on that later. All right. But I hope to see y'all next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Carrie gonna finally be able to talk. But I appreciate y'all for joining in for real relevant conversation. We love y'all so much as always. See y'all next Wednesday at 8 o'clock where we have a new conversation, new topic. We talking real relevant conversation. We out, beautiful people. Let's go.